Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Dark Powerrr, where we break down everything that happens on AEW Dark, AEW Elevation, and NWA Powerrr. This was a short but sweet episode of Dark and Elevation, and I feel like it was a informative kind of episode for NWA Powerrr, but let's get into it. All right, guys, and we are back. Now, this is like I said, a short but sweet episode of Elevation. Elevation, nothing too much stood out to me. But Dark, there were some things in Dark that stood out to me. And we'll start with what was our opening match. And it's Lee Moriarty taking on Mysterioso. This one is a nice little match. It was just about 5 minutes. I think it went a little over 5 minutes long. But Lee Moriarty getting a chance to shine. Mysterioso is a great opponent. I saw a fun thing. I think it was on Twitter. Somebody said something along the lines of, because Mysterioso is wearing like a chain link kind of headgear thing on top of the mask that he's wearing, and it was somebody was saying it looks as though Scott Steiner's had a kid with Rey Mysterio. But this was a nice chance for both men to shine. Lee Moriarty is somebody who's on the rise in AEW. Mysterioso was not making his AEW debut, but he was or is somebody who can give Lee a nice run for his money, and that's something that you need. That is what helped people build up Lee Moriarty in their. I see him beating people like that. Now, there wasn't too much else in the show until the main event. Brandy Rhodes did make a comeback. It was a match back after giving birth to Liberty. Okay match there, nothing too crazy. We had a Thunder Rosa match, and after that, she had a promo where she was talking about Jade Cargill. Smart Mark Sterling comes out. There's a little bit of jaw-jacking back and forth. Jade Cargill attacks Thunder Rosa from behind, building momentum for their TBS semifinals, TBS Championship semifinals match. Also, we had a Team Taz promo after, I think it was a Ricky Starks win. Where they are talking about, you got the pin, the Diamond Ring Battle Royale match, and there is a nice little exchange with Lio Rush. I had the benefit of watching this after Dynamite, so I kind of knew or know what Lio is alluding to during the course of his promo, that Dante is actually going to turn on Team Taz, but some nice foreshadowing. And I get it. Sometimes people aren't big followers of Dark or Elevation, so it's more of a reason to tune in. I think if they continue the storyline promo build, definitely reference what Leo's promises on Dark. Have him talk about that on Dynamite. You're going to get some viewers to Dark. You're at least telling people, hey, maybe give Dark, maybe give Elevation a chance. You never know. There are some storyline things that may be happening. And, we love that kind of stuff here on Dark Powerrr. But I told you guys, nothing really else stood out until the main event. But the main event was a pretty damn good match. It's Aaron Solo taking on Johnny Hungy. As I was like, wait a minute, John Silver, is that really his last name? I'm just so used to thinking of him as Johnny Hungy. But here is Silver getting into it with Aaron Solo ahead of his match against Bryan Danielson. Good match, and looking forward to seeing how Silver does in the ring with Danielson. I already know how it's going to go, but it was a good match, a good showcase match. And, of course, AEW contracted talent against AEW contracted talent. Tony, that's going to get me every single time. Something else that's going to get me is good 6-man tag match. And here we have the OGK teaming up with Victor Benjamin to take on Colby Carino and his 2 new followers, friends, associates, people, the Fixers. This is a forward tag match. It's on the longer side, but that's not too bad. We have Victor Benjamin kind of here to take the pinfall for the faces so that Taven and Bennett are protected in the loss. Colby Carino looks great in the win. They are really behind this kid. They are stacking for him, and I gotta say I love it. I love it. Get him on the mic more. He's really good on the mic. I want to know more about the relationship between him and the Fixers. I want to know what his goals are. Is he going to go after the TV title? Is he going to go after the national heavyweight championship? It's interesting because both of those championships are held by heels. So does that mean he's going to try to go straight to the top? Go after Big Man. Go after Trevor. That's something we got to figure out. Because we can't waste this guy, especially when he's doing some pretty damn good work. Now, there are I'm saying informative. There's a lot to just kind of quickly jump through before we get to kind of the main event. So I'm just going to run through a lot of this really quickly for you guys. So there is a Strictly Business promo where all 3 members of Strictly Business are talking about their respective matches. Adonis and Camille obviously are able to talk about the fact that they won, but Latimer can't talk about that because he lost. He lost to old boy Nick. And so he points out that he left under his own power. Nick had to lean on the referee, and he says that he got in Nick's head and that he may have lost a battle, but it's more of a war kind of situation, which, heels are wont to do to try to brush a loss under the rug. Nothing wrong there. Jax Dane, another person who has a promo, another heel with a promo, he says that he is putting his championship series opportunity on the line against Mims because he didn't appreciate how Mims had some help from Crimson during the match. Next, we have a Latimer squash match against Miguel Robles. This is just to reinforce how badass of a guy Latimer is and how much of a threat he can be. Let him get some of his heat back. Let him get some of his power back after the loss to Aldis. We're only in page 1 or chapter 1 of this story between Aldis and Latimer. So let's get Latimer the win that he needs. Then we have a match here with Genocide versus Payola. This one's also quick. It's just kind of a weird story of tag team having randomly split up with Genocide being upset at Payola and Taryn Terrell trying to figure out what the hell is going on between her 2 associates. After that, and one thing I will say, I do kind of like the fact that Genocide is in essence turning face because you now get the opportunity of Genocide versus Camille for the Burke. Next, we have the Hex, La Rebellion, and Homicide doing a really quick promo. Nothing too crazy there. Also, again, each talking about their victories. Next, we have Team Tyrus coming out for a promo. Tyrus is doing a pretty good job of the promo. Scion shows up. There's some weird shit that happens here with Scion talking about he had a father who was an NWA champion, but he wasn't able to learn much from him. And so he wanted to face Tyrus, not because he really wanted the championship, but because he wanted to face Tyrus, and he thought that he could learn something from him. And it's just kind of weird to suddenly give Scion daddy issues. I'm not necessarily super mad at it, but the whole thing was that he was a mystery masked person. And yeah, he still has that element of mystery because there's been a shit ton of NWA champions. So who exactly he's referring to, I have no idea when he's saying that that's his father. But at the same time, it just takes away some of that mystique to just be like, oh, he has daddy issues. Everybody has issues with their parents, of course. But I don't know if that should necessarily be highlighted here as part of the storyline when the idea behind Scion is that level of mystique. Either way, he is asking for another shot at Tyrus. Tyrus is kind of in this weird position where he's sort of respecting Scion, and he says that he'll think about it. After this, we have what I call Team Aldis promo, where it's the Aldises of Mickie James and her husband, Nick Aldis. And Mickie puts over Kiera Hogan as her opponent for the Impact Knockouts Championship from Hard Times 2 and says if you want to do it again, the door is open. Aldis says that he has won Sweet Charlotte before. He'll do so again. But that he's interested in the other aspect that the NWA was super well known for, and that's tag team wrestling. And he wants to reunite the British Invasion with Doug Williams. Doug Williams comes out. After a little bit of back and forth, they announce that they are going to be teaming together. And there's going to be something weird that happens with something after this, our main event. But anyway, we have Jax Dane very quickly dismantling Mims. It's about, I think, like 4 minutes long of a match. Crimson is on commentary. One thing to note is that Crimson is now going by Anthony Mayweather, which I believe is his real name. But either way, it just seemed random to suddenly stop calling this guy Crimson. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe they should talk about that. But overall, good segment just to get Jax continuing to build up his heat. And I did think that I like that he is calling himself the Dane event. Instead of the main event, the Dane event. That's a nice little twist on the, I'm the most important, I'm the biggest guy. We have Hawks Aerie having a little back and forth with JTG and Fandango, Dirty Dango, because Dango and JTG think that they should be the ones to face off against the British Invasion in the main event. So a couple things. How did Billy Corgan know that this was going to happen? What was his original main event? He didn't know that Nick was going to go out. Oh, okay, maybe he knew. Okay, he knew that Nick was going to go out there to ask Doug Williams to rejoin him. He didn't know whether Doug Williams was going to say yes. And then how is he making a match? Like what? And why is it Hawks Aerie? Because we know that they're going to win. We know that British Invasion is going to win. Why put them up against Hawks Aerie? Put them up against some random-ass tag team that you just throw together for the purposes of – this would be a great time to get that Captain Yuma dude and what was this? Whatever the hell is his tag team partner's name is. That's how unimportant they were, and that's how it wouldn't have mattered if they take the loss to British Invasion. But Hawks Aerie were in the finals of your tag title tournament against the End, and they just narrowly lost that match. Why are you putting them in this kind of position where they suffer from taking this loss? We're expecting British Invasion to win because it's supposed to be that kind of feel-good moment of a team reuniting for the first time in years. It could have been anybody. But it happened to be Hawks Aerie, and I feel that's going to hurt them. And I gave away the main event, but that's fine. Last but not least, we have a Trevor Murdoch promo, and Murdoch is just running over the shit between him and Knox, talking a little bit about Cardona. We do have Aaron Stevens showing up back in his old kind of heel Aaron Stevens persona, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. We're getting some heels to showdown with Trevor Murdoch over the 10 pounds of gold. That's something that we always like. I will say this, though. The main event, while we do kind of know what's going to happen, it's a good match. It's a pretty good match for the 6 that's going to go. So those were the 2 matches that stood out, that opening 6-man tag match and then the main event. Everything else is like 4 minutes or less. So, like I said, an informative episode of NWA Powerrr because we kind of see where some things could go. We kind of see some glimpses for the future. Colby Corino and the Fixers, the British Invasion maybe going after tag titles, Genocide maybe going after Camille. We see some things that can start to shake out, but overall, nothing too crazy to write home about. But that's what we do here. We write home no matter what. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you have not already. This has been another edition of Dark Powerrr. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.